I'll put it this way. You couldn't pay me $100 to sit through one entire full-length game of the MLB in the regular season. Couldn't do it. And this is going to sound crazy, but I'd rather watch cornhole on ESPN than watch an entire Major League Baseball game. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are making history. This is the first time ever in the history of our channel that we are making a baseball video. Just like they say, though, there's a first time for everything, and yeah, let's just get straight into it. Unfortunately, though, I have some bad news, and more than likely, yes, this will be the last time. So, ironically enough, it's the first baseball video we're ever making on the channel, and more than likely, the last. And I'm going to try to make this as short, sweet, and as simple as possible. And by the way, we're not doing no intro, none of that. It's simply, you like the content, consider joining our amazing community. We'd love to have you here. If you don't want to subscribe, that's cool too. I don't really know how to ease into this. I'm just going to jump straight into it. I hate baseball, but to be more specific, I hate the MLB. And I think we're doing this video at a great time because the MLB All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby, they just got done wrapping up. But let me explain to you why I not only hate baseball, but you also don't see many YouTubers talking about baseball. But before we get into that, just like with anything in this life, I gotta give you some context. Growing up, I played baseball, played travel baseball, did all that stuff. It's a fun sport to play. Really fun to play, and I also think if you're at a game, it's really fun to watch. But however, every baseball fan, whether you played or you simply just like watching for the fun of it, they all say the same thing. Watching a game on TV, it's boring. It's very weird when you think about it because let's say basketball and football, not only do I love playing those sports, but I also love watching them. But the difference is with basketball and football, people love watching those whether they're in person or on their couch. But with baseball, the one narrative being thrown around for most people, by the way, I'm not talking about the diehard fans, I'm talking about most people, the vast majority, they don't care to watch it if it's on TV. Going to the park and getting a hot dog, it's just a cool and different vibe, but watching a 9-inning game on TV, yeah, you kind of got to be psycho to do that. It's really boring, it's long and drug out, but we'll get to that a little later in this video. That's some foreshadowing. But the reason I myself struggled to try to like baseball, and I've tried getting into it, is because of the MLB themselves. I also need to make this clear. I watched every single one of the College World Series games this year. Dude, they were amazing. I even watched almost every single super regional game that I could. College baseball, it's electric in the postseason. You'll probably never catch me watching a college baseball game in the regular season, but the postseason, yeah, count me in. Let's talk about the serious side of things. The past 10 years or so, the NBA and NFL, they just continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. On the contrary, though, the other sport that is a part of the big three, baseball, basketball, and football, they're not really getting too much bigger. I'm not going to say they're declining. Some people would say that, but let's just say they're staying stagnant. I think we can agree on all that. And the reason they're staying stagnant is for really one reason and one reason only. I want you to really think about this. If you were to go to a foreign country and say, hey, who's the best player or one of the best players in the MLB? Most people really don't know. And there's a reason for that, because the MLB has a big time copyright rule. If you're watching this channel, I also assume you watch other sports YouTubers, whether that's basketball or football. Well, one thing you've probably noticed, and if you haven't, you're going to notice this when I say it, there are very few Major League Baseball YouTubers. You're going to have some, but for the most part, there's not even near as many as when it comes to football and basketball. And that's not because there's not a lot of people that don't like the MLB, because I think a lot of people love baseball. But the problem is, and the reason you don't see people talk about it on YouTube a lot, is because the MLB's copyright rules. They don't allow anybody outside of themselves to use their video footage. Whereas the NFL and NBA, they're okay with it. At first, it wasn't like this, though. The NBA was like, do we really want YouTubers and other people using our video footage? I mean, that's going to take away from us. But at the end of the day, they was like, well, wait a minute. Not really, because if a YouTuber makes a video on an NBA player or they react to it or something and it gets 5 million views, yeah, they may gain a little money from it and take some money from our pockets, but in the long run, it's going to get more eyes on the NBA and the NFL. You see what I'm saying? So the NFL, the NBA, they're very smart. They were like, hey, we'll let all these other people give us free publicity. And I don't want to dive too deep into copyright, but the NBA and the NFL, they allow some use. Copyright, it's a tricky issue that even to this day I'm still learning about, but I would say I probably know more than your casual person just because I'm in the industry. And the one thing that's so funny is, for example, if you've been watching the past couple of videos, we've been talking about the Summer League. I've been showing you guys plenty of video clips from the Summer League. Why is that? Because the NBA, they allow it. The NBA wants people like me. They want people on YouTube talking about them. It keeps them relevant. But not only does it keep them relevant, it gets other people engaged and they grow and grow and grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Here's how the NBA and the NFL looks at it. Let me just give you their perspective. Let's say a YouTuber uses some summer league footage and they make a couple $100s off of that YouTube video. The NBA understands that, but at the end of the day, they're like, okay, yeah, he made a couple $100, but he probably gained us at bare minimum, let's say 30,000 people watch that person's video. He probably gained us like 10 NBA fans. And they look at it like, okay, if we can just gain 10 or 15 more fans, they'll come to a game and they'll spend $100, $200 a person. So long story short here, and I hope you understand where I'm going with this, the NBA and NFL are like, yeah, we'll just get the money back in some other way and fashion. Whereas the MLB is like, nope, don't care. People can't use their video footage. And whoa, hold on. I know what you're sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, okay, I understand that, but how does this correlate with you hating and not liking the MLB? And be patient, grasshopper. You gotta be patient. I'm getting to it. It all ties in together. When you don't allow people to show off your brand and talk about it, even if they do use some of your video footage or some of your, what would you call it? I guess the word I'm looking for is your product. Yeah, your product. When you don't allow people to use that, then that said person or those said people, they just go to a different community where it's accepted. Life is about communities. Whether you believe this or not, us humans, we were born not to be alone. We were born to be a part of something, a group, a pact, like wolves. We don't want to be alone. We want to feel like we're a part of something. Whether that's the swimming club, whether that's the YMCA, whether that's your chess club, whether that's your golf club, anything, you get the point. We want unity. This is human nature. In the MLB, they had that. I wouldn't even say 20 years ago. I'd say 10 to 15 years ago. People really enjoyed and were engaged with the MLB way more 10 to 15 years ago than they are now. And the reason for that, fairly simple, goes back to copyright. MLB doesn't want people using their video clips and talking about them doing this and that. The game's not going to grow. And when you don't allow people to talk about it, those said people that want to talk about it, and by the way, let me clarify this. I don't even want to talk about the MLB. I'm just talking about it in general. When you don't allow people to talk about it, they go elsewhere. Let me put this into a better perspective. It's kind of like if we were in a swimming club and there were 10 people in the club and I was the one black sheep where nobody really wanted to talk to me and everybody was joking on me. They didn't want to be my friend. Well, eventually, time after time, you treat somebody like crap, they're going to leave. That's what's happened with MLB fans. Hold on. You know what? As a matter of fact, let me just show you this. Check this out. This happened years ago. I believe it happened in like 2018. So the MLB, they shut down a Twitter account of a guy who pretty much was just sharing MLB GIFs or GIFs, however you want to say it. So pretty much he was just posting memes and the MLB is like, oh yeah, we can't have that. We got to shut them down. That's just one example. I'm not going to go over thousands of them because it's relatively self-explanatory. They copyright everything. Granted, are you going to see some YouTubers and some MLB YouTubers? Yes, but they're few and far between. The MLB would be doing themselves a huge favor if they would just let the game expand. How do you let the game expand? Let people talk about it. Let people post about it. Let people just grow the game. But whatever, I digress. I think I'll get that point. Last but not least, I want to say this. As far as it goes for the gameplay itself, let's talk about it. Way too many dang games. This is common knowledge. The more of something, the less valuable it becomes. For example, football fans, they watch every single NFL or college football game because in college, there's only 12 games in a regular season, and NFL, there's only 17. Not a lot. So what does that equate to? Scarcity, and scarcity is valuable. Let's talk about basketball though, because they're in the middle of the MLB and football when it comes to games played. I could be mistaken on this, but I do believe the NBA regular season is 82 games, right? Maybe that changed. I don't know. Last time I checked, it's 82 regular season games. That's a lot. And even your diehard NBA fans, they're probably not watching every single game, all 82. No way. They'll probably watch 60 to 70. But that's still a good percentage. The MLB, isn't there like 160 something games? I don't care what anybody says. That is way too many dang games. And before one of you Timothys run to the comments and say, well, actually, Matt, there's 171 and a half games. Shut up. I don't care. The point is, there's too many dang games. If I had to guess, I'm going to say there's 162 games in the regular season. I do believe that's what it is. Either 162 or 164, but I'm pretty sure it's 162. But that's besides the point. But also, as far as the gameplay, like the gameplay itself, It's terrible. It's too slow. And I'm not going to lie, I thought the pitch clock would fix it, but it hasn't. I don't know how you would fix the regular season games in the MLB, but they are still boring as ever. It's just so boring, I can't even explain it. The best thing that's happened in the MLB the past couple of years is that LA De La Cruz dude that's playing for the Cincinnati Reds. This has actually been the most I've kept up with the MLB in my entire life, probably just because of him. I keep up with him and Shohei Ohtani because that Shohei Ohtani dude, he is unreal. Arguably, when it's going to be said and done, he's going to be the greatest baseball player to ever walk on this earth. It doesn't make sense for a guy to be that good at hitting and also that good at pitching. Shohei Ohtani would make Babe Ruth look like a plumber in the modern day and age. But outside of Ohtani and LA De La Cruz, it's boring as crap. And this is going to sound crazy, but I'd rather watch cornhole on ESPN than watch an entire Major League Baseball game. Because at least with cornhole, it's fast-paced and they're going boom, 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 boom. I can watch a game in 15, 30 minutes. With baseball, it's still too long and not enough excitement. I'm starting to low-key think the MLB is some money laundering scheme because I don't know how they get all this money to pay these players. Most regular season tickets are like $10. And what's the team? Isn't it the Athletics? They have like 100 people showing up to the games. It's crazy, man. And to go on top of that, it's not like they're generating a ton of revenue on TV because nobody watches them at home outside of diehard fans. I normally always watch the championship series if it's good at least and if it's competitive. But outside of that, even the early stages of the postseason, don't care. I'll put it this way. You couldn't pay me $100 to sit through one entire full-length game of the MLB in the regular season. Couldn't do it. It's boring, 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 boring. Let me know your thoughts down below. But